What's going on, Vikings fans? Welcome to Purple and Gold Bars. I'm your host, Supreme. We've made it to week 3, and we're just 24 hours away from the Minnesota Vikings playing the Houston Texans. Let's get started with this preview. On paper, the Texans are nowhere near the team that the 49ers are, both in their roster as well as their efficiency. The gap is so wide between the two defenses that people say the 49ers have assembled the Avengers on both offense and defense. Last I checked, the Texans just have an above-average defense. So, after a performance last week against a much better defense, I don't think their defense is going to make any difference whatsoever. Our play calling, on top of the play of our O-line, our receivers, and Sam Darnold will continue to embarrass secondaries this week. Last week, these overrated Texans barely beat a bottom 10 team in the Chicago Bears and struggled to move the ball versus an above-average defense. Our defense makes the Bears' defense look like scrubs on paper and on the field. Not to mention, our defensive scheme is unique to Brian Flores, and there's no way they'll be able to recreate it in practice. Our pass rush, that is no longer dependent on one guy that is now your best pass rusher, is able to create pressure and sacks from multiple players. It's why we lead the league in sacks. Let's not forget that we have more tape than anyone in the league on Stephon Diggs and Danielle Hunter. If they have the exact same tendencies and haven't eliminated any of their weaknesses, then it's going to be a long day for them because our coaches are going to take advantage of that, and our game plan is going to make them irrelevant this week. Now, you may think that by the same logic, the Texans will have a similar advantage with Cashman and Grenard. And at first glance, it might seem that way. But unfortunately for the Texans, the tape that they have on Cashman and Grenard isn't of them playing in our scheme. Let's not forget home field advantage, right? We're going to see a lot of unforced errors, a lot of miscommunication, penalties, and wasted timeouts because it gets so damn loud in US Bank Stadium. They have no clue what's coming to them. But what are the Texans banking on? Their defense is pretty good. But what I see most in videos and comments is this delusional belief in C.J. Stroud. He struggled against the Bears, which is an indication of how bad it's going to be for him this week. But I get it. The delusion comes from his stats against the blitz. He is great at reading defenses pre-snap and checking out of bad situations. But unfortunately for him, B-Flow's defense forces QBs to make their reads post-snap, making those stats irrelevant. I'll explain it for the Texans fans, that way we don't lose them. CJ is not going to be able to check out of plays with the same efficiency because everything is disguised in our scheme. So no matter what read he does pre-snap, it isn't going to translate to what happens post-snap. Then he's got to identify the defense that they're in, then identify which route to throw against that defense, then go through his progressions. After all that, he then has to make the throw. Unlike before, where he would read the defense, check out of the bad situation, and already know what he's going to throw as soon as the ball is snapped. And then it's basically just muscle memory after that. He's not going to have that luxury this game. Brian Flores does this to overload a quarterback's mental stack. That way, it causes mistakes in his decision-making and gameplay. It's like being asked to perform your most skilled task while having your senses overloaded with information. Like most people, including the best athletes in the world, they make mistakes under those conditions. So before CJ Stroud has a chance to figure out the defense and learn how to move the ball, it's going to be the second half. We'll have a multiple possession lead, and we'll be running the clock. Oh, and that brings me to your running game. No starting running back, no backup running back, and you're starting your third string running back, who KOC knows from his time with the Rams. Then, when we coached him last year, so we know what he can and can't do, and you better believe we're going to force him to do the things that he can't do. On top of the fact that I think that we're going to make far less mistakes this week. That's why I think it's going to be an easy win this week. 31 Vikings, 13 Texans. The Texans are going to get humbled this week by a better roster and better coaches. There you have it. What do you think of my preview? How do you think it's going to go down this week versus the Texans? Leave me a comment with your prediction, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this one. And until next time, Skol Vikings!